let me read something for you. A culture can rise no higher than the moral position of its women. Now, born in the rural American South to a Black family, she was the female counterpart to the Booker T. Washingtons of her time. Like Mr. Washington, Miss Bethune believed that the long-term success of the Black race was through economic integration into the United States through education, strong families, don't miss that part, and strong religious ties. By learning how to read, write, do mathematics, and possess a tangible skill, Blacks would need not limit themselves to positions of unskilled labor only, but would become sought after commodities for their skills. And thus, as their economic standing increased, so would they be gradually integrated into society. This process would take a long time, but if followed, it would be to literally raise them up from slavery, as in the title of Booker T. Washington's biography. However, there was one major difference with Miss Bethune, and this likely came as an observation from her Presbyterian background. Shout out to all my Presbyterian brothers and sisters in the live chat, which was the above quote. In order to raise their people up from slavery, the root cause, listen to this, lay not in a simple social transformation, but also a religious and moral transformation, and specifically one directed at the women, because she is the vehicle through which new life enters into the world. She is the first teacher to children in their early years and sees first to domestic needs. If the man is the head of a people, then the woman is its heart. While it is important to have a strong head, if the heart is rotten or missing, then the head will only serve to further evil aims. Conversely, if the heart is strong and good, the heart will be able to make good and righteous decisions. The two provide vastly different functions, but are equal in their dignity, as they need each other to function, and what affects one part inevitably affects the other. I'm almost done. Catch this part, you guys. Miss Bethune's outlook on the place of the woman in society is applicable to all. For a long time, were taught by most cultures throughout human history. And when a culture failed to or stopped teaching them, that marked the decline and fall of these same cultures and even civilizations. I hope you caught that. What Miss Bethune is saying is that we have history to prove and demonstrate that when a culture failed or stopped teaching the things that I spoke about, it marked the decline and fall of these same cultures and civilizations. The dignity and, most importantly, chastity of a woman is one of those issues, like honest, non-usurious money. It is one of the very small but critical linchpins upon which a great deal of social stability rests. You guys, she believed that social stability hinged and banked its foundation on something is what you modern life might say is insignificant, the chastity of our women. If a pin is removed or altered to such a point it is no longer functioning, then a society will feel the strain. If this happens with too many pins, then the society will inevitably collapse. In the case of a woman, the collapse is magnified because of biological reasons. Oh, would you look at that? We different, right? Yes, we are different. Not only could the society simply collapse, but its basic biological makeup could change, and the people that once inhabited it might completely disappear. This has happened many times throughout history, and it very well could happen again, as history tends to repeat because men make the same mistakes in different generations. You guys, The fabric of American society, it is crumbling. And it is crumbling before our eyes, and it is falling apart for a number of reasons. One of those is because some men, not all men, some men, more than I'd like to say, have abandoned their posts and allowed toxic femininity to thrive. Yep, I said it. So go ahead and clip it. The brown girl from the Bronx said that our society, our culture, this nation as we know it, is crumbling right before our very eyes because some men have allowed toxic femininity to proliferate in this country, so much so that with that, well, one, apart from Christ, we don't know, no one has any hope, right? But knowing this, knowing that the toxic femininity culture and trajectory, if we stay on it, if history is true, which it is, and if we know it's prone to repeat itself, which it does, what do you think is going to happen to this nation, this once great, prosperous, and strong nation? Would you agree that we'll be weaker and less wiser than our predecessors? I would argue that we will. It is one thing for women to want rights, right? I would agree and affirm that there was a time in this country where it's just like, they just want to vote. Like, y'all gonna let them vote? Just let the women vote, right? Some even argue like that was a problem. As soon as y'all let them vote, that's when everything went downhill. I wasn't born, so I don't know. Depending, if I had been born maybe in the 30s or the 40s and remember what it was like when women could not vote and when society was stronger, I might have a different worldview and would say, yeah, they probably shouldn't have let us vote. But I'm gonna go on record and say, maybe that wasn't a bad idea, but I can see why, at least for the Black community. Yes, I'm just gonna say it. Because why? Because the demise of our community right now is at the hands of our women. Yes, the Black woman. Whatever. I said what I said. So, because of women's liberation, that whole movement, we now live in a time of profuse toxic femininity, right? Our nation, we are at our weakest. We are not strong like we used to be. And we are ruled and managed and controlled by this matriarchal, estrogen-rich toxicity that the only way I know how to fix it, one, obviously, we need a spiritual awakening. Yes, I would agree. But at the same time, I'm not trying to divorce my faith from what we see out in the culture. But when we look at the history of this country, even in the absence where everyone wasn't a Christian, when gender roles were properly established, understood, and respected, things were just different. And you'd be hard pressed to prove that I am wrong.